Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is September 12th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see the system we've been dealing with the last couple of days. It is now over western Montana, continuing to slowly spin and move off to the east. So we wait for the next system. You can see the jet stream here, just south of the Aleutian Islands. This will be continuing to bring some activity into the Pacific Northwest. A system coming this weekend, and then another one coming as we go through the upcoming week. And we're going to take a look at those in some detail here, as well as the extended forecast. So let's take a look at where we are right now. This is this morning. Sun is rising. Visible satellite imagery. We got socked in clouds for most places west of the Cascades. You can see western Oregon, western Washington. If you're up in the Olympic Mountains, though, you are above some of that. But there is some drizzle out there as well. I woke up and the deck was a little bit wet with some of this onshore flow and this marine layer in the area. And you can see Vancouver Island, some of the higher terrain, actually dealing with some sunshine, as well as British Columbia. So taking a look at Olympia, I want to point this out. 0.93 inches of rain yesterday. That is a daily record high. Nice precipitation total for the month of September. We only averaged 2 inches for the entire month, and we got almost half of that in one day. 68 degrees, 74 is the average high for this time of year, and by the time we get towards the end of the month, September, 67 degrees is the average high for Olympia. So we are definitely on the downward trend. Fall is coming. Taking a look at Seattle, 67 degrees, 73 degrees is the average high, and again 67 for the end of the month. Only a quarter of an inch so far, but we've got more chances coming up this weekend and as we go through the mid portion of the week coming up as well. Looking at thunderstorm threat today, Missoula east, you can see there is some significant wind and a hail threat out there, and even a tornado threat east of Billings. So if you're traveling out there, you know anybody out there, go ahead and let them know about that. But this is going to be continuing to kick off to the east over the next couple of days when we wait for our next system to roll in here. So taking a look at the wider view of things here, and I'm going to point out something here for western Montana. So let's just get right to that. You can see that we're dealing with some high elevation snow across the northern Rockies, mainly above 7,500 feet. It is that time of the year where you need to be checking when we get these cold upper level lows. If you're going off into the backcountry, hypothermia, you get the snow covered trails and you're not prepared for it. It can sneak up on you. And some breezy winds out there as well. This is Spokane National Weather Service. Pendleton kind of echoing the same thing here. Nothing too crazy, but just have that in the back of your mind. And one more time, Great Falls, Montana, also calling attention to it, mainly above 7,500 feet. Look at some of these overnight lows in the 20s and 30s. Watch out. Again, hypothermia, slippery roads and trails. Be prepared. Now, looking at the North American model, the high resolution version, you can see this precipitation continuing to pinwheel and spin across the region, kicking off to the east as we go through tonight. And then we wait for the next system here. And you can see the frontal system coming in as we go through Friday afternoon and evening. And there's going to be a potential convergence zone, especially across some of the central sound and off into the Cascade foothills and Cascades as we go through on the day Saturday, we'll call it. And then the system kind of continues to pinwheel across the region here as we go on in through Saturday. But you can kind of see it's nothing too crazy, but it's going to keep the onshore flow going and bring another couple of rounds of precipitation. I'll show you more on that here in the European in a moment. Now, if we take a look at the purple octopus there across the northern hemisphere, we're looking at Greenland right here. There's Alaska, there's Washington, and Japan would be way over here is the Pacific Ocean. So this is going to continue to get colder and sag a bit further south as we go into the fall and the winter months. And you can see this gradient here. That's where we develop these mid-latitude cyclones. And of course, as we gather that cold air here and the polar vortex gets stronger, we start to bring these storms with more frequency down into the Pacific Northwest. So right there is a system we're dealing with now. You continue to see that push off to the east, and then the next system comes rolling in here as we go through Friday night right there. And kind of a 1-2 shot there as the trough digs all the way down the west coast of North America. And then we look off into next week. And a little bit of difference in strength in this next system here as we go through Tuesday, Wednesday, GFS versus the European. But you can see that system move through there. And then we kind of do this cat and mouse thing where we try to build some ridging. Systems try to swing down and hit the Pacific Northwest. And then some of the models are showing us some stronger ridging as we go off way off into the crystal ball, but nothing to get too worried about just yet. But it still is September, and we still can warm up at this time of year. So maybe we'll end up with a string of some nice days here across the region. Taking a look at the European. So that's upper level low right there, western Montana and some of Idaho as we go through the day today. And then you can see the precipitation start to move in Friday afternoon, Friday night, here Saturday morning, and we go on into the day Saturday. And the European's been showing a pretty impressive convergence zone there across some of the central sound, moving off into the foothills and the Cascades. Some precipitation for the Oregon Cascades, British Columbia as as well. And that trough pinwheels down the coastline. And then we bring another system, and not a bad one there, on the European. This is last night's run. This is about Tuesday night. And if we back up here, the precipitation with that one should be arriving at some point on the day Tuesday here. So we got a nice 1-2 punch coming up as we go through the next 144 hours or so. Now, looking at the European, this is total precipitation in inches. This kind of, we're just going to go through this here really quick. You can see the nice amounts across Montana. That first system rolls through here, and not bad amounts for some areas, especially western coastline here at British Columbia, some of Vancouver Island. Then we continue on out in through next week, and that next system will bring additional rounds of precipitation with it also. So yeah, it is that time of year. This would be very beneficial across the area. And look at this eastern Oregon, what this is showing here with some of these two systems, this 1-2 punch bringing some big amounts to some of eastern Oregon here. I mean, that would be very beneficial. And again, for Idaho Panhandle, western Montana, some of eastern Washington, Pullman out there, this would be very beneficial precipitation. Well, the Columbia Basin usually gets skunked, and this is no exception. So taking a look at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, you can kind of see the up and down as we get that next system here. Then we bounce back, we drop back down again, maybe a trough, then maybe try to bounce back again after that. So you can kind of see we're going through that transition period here as we go into the fall months. Here we go with Portland International. You can see that system Tuesday, Wednesday, and then potential bounce back as we go through the following weekend. We'll worry about that as we go, and we'll break it down day by day and try to get some better model agreement on that. And again, one more reminder that this is apparent temperature, takes into account wind chill. It's pretty raw out there this morning, and again tomorrow morning some areas are going to be pretty raw across the backcountry. And in fact, if we look at the high temperatures for today, so across the Cascades and some of the Rocky Mountains, things don't warm up too much, so be prepared for that. Now, looking at the daily 2-meter max temperature in the national blended models, we're going to scroll day at a time. This is for Thursday, September 12th. There's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You see no big warm up really coming here, although you can't rule it out at this point. But once we start getting past September 20th, we might get a bit of a bump in some of these temperatures. We'll see how that goes. But seasonably below average here for the next week or so, it looks like. And here's the 6 to 10 day. You can see the above average signal. Not much has changed there. And this is the 6 to 10 day kind of bullseye across some of the southwest, but it does include the Pacific Northwest. And this is the drought monitor actually updated today. You can see that we did get rid of some of that extreme drought across eastern Washington, but we did extend some of that severe drought across eastern Washington here as well. So a few updates there. And this system, again, is really going to help that upper level low for western Montana, and portions of Idaho Panhandle are really getting some nice precipitation amounts with this. And 8 to 14 day, not much has changed, something similar, just kind of a broad brush. Not going to worry too much about that right now. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. I'm back to work for a few days here and checking out what's next to come. Yeah, we'll break everything down again, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the channel. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.